Hi friends, I made it back on before Christmas. I didn't expect to get to do that. I hopefully going to paint a quick one for you here. This is obviously an old painting. It's a 5x7 panel. When I cleaned out my studio, I ran across a lot of paintings. For some reason, I never finished it, so I scraped off anything that was heavy and decided to paint over it. Could have kept going. Looks kind of cute, but I lost interest. So, all right, let me show you what we're going to paint. A little hard to tell with the glare. I'll turn the light off so you can see it. There we go. Blue and white bowl with a couple lemons and some cherries. The blue and white is wonderful with the yellow. I was looking for a little dish that I used to own, a kind of a pedestal base, blue and white, but I may still have it, but I couldn't find it. So, and as you can see, I have it lit, which blows it out for you, but creates some light and shadows for me. So let's get you up here where you can see. By the way, we're going to sketch it on with a brush, and then we're going to paint this with a palette knife. I have really gotten into painting with a palette knife lately. I find people are receiving it really well too. They like seeing the texture. So, all right, we're going to use our little view catcher to look through because it works well for the smaller canvases. And I've adjusted it, you know, I just kind of guessed and at the format for a 5x7. So that's what I'm looking through. So we got to ignore what we got on here. Nice thing is there's nothing very dark on there, so our sketch should show up well. All right, let's look through here and try to place these items. That's about the height. I don't want the lemons to be bing, bing, you know, just exactly the same height. So I'm going to reach over here and pull the lemon behind, maybe a little more forward. So that puts the height of it below. So sometimes even with rounded objects, I'll kind of use straight lines to sketch them in. The reasoning behind that is that you're thinking from plane to plane, from angle to angle, instead of just mindlessly doing that. So is everybody ready for Christmas? I think I am. I wrapped my last gift tonight. We have like 3 days of celebration. I'm blessed to have a big family. Christmas Eve with my daughters, Christmas Day at my sisters. There's about 30 of us there. I have a big family. And then the day after, a couple other of my grandsons are coming over. So again, I'm very blessed. Lots of little ones in the family. My great nieces and nephews seem to, every year we seem to have more new babies. So we had 2 new ones last year. We got another new one this year. I don't know of any more that are coming right now, but it just grows and grows. Okay, let's look at this space. I'm looking at the negative space right there where that bowl meets that lemon. I'm looking at that shape. So I debated about cherries or blackberries. I also have wonderful fake blackberries, but I'm not sure why, but I went with the cherries. Place the stems in different positions just to hopefully make it interesting. I got one going up on this lemon and this cherry's on the side. And this one's over here, but the stem overlaps the bowl. So I'm kind of thinking about values too as I'm sketching, you know. Okay, I want to bring that down. I can tell you right now, I don't want that hitting in an odd place on that little bowl. I've got a lot of these wonderful blue and white bowls. I was in there digging around. They just hide in the cupboard. I've got a whole cupboard full of props. Seems kind of sad. Seems like they ought to be out. There's a shadow in there. Fairly dark. Again, I'm going to keep that down there. We're not going to ignore that one. I love blue and white objects. All right, and we're going to switch to our palette knife now. I work in water mixable oils, so they are wonderful for cleanup. It's just water, soap and water cleanup. You can do pretty good actually with traditional oils, with like Murphy's oil, soap and water too. And actually, because I paint so often, I don't clean my brushes thoroughly too often. I clean them up at the end of painting and I tuck them in a Ziploc bag, and that's where they stay a good part of the time because I'm painting so often. All right, we're going to start with the smaller pointed palette knife. That's probably my favorite little knife. And we'll start with the lemons, okay? And I'm going to mix up 3 values. If you follow me, you know I like to do that. There are some highlights on the lemons, and some of the lemons appear a little bit green. So we'll pull some yellow aside. We'll put a little blue in it to darken it, which is going to pull it green. And that might, we'll just leave that aside. That might work well for the end of this. Lemon's pretty green. All right, now I want to get some of this a bit darker. So again, we'll put some blue in it, which of course pulls it green. And then I'm going to put a little alizarin crimson in it to kill the intensity, you know, dull that green, the complement to it, you know. Okay. And even though I use a limited palette, 2 blues, 2 yellows, 2 reds primarily. There's a few other colors on here. And even though my cool yellow is lemon yellow, we'll try it. But sometimes the addition of a little lemon yellow on there can make it feel like light. I'm also going to mix a little orange off to the side. So I'm just, like I say, I want to give myself a lot of options. And again, we're working with a palette knife, so we'll see how that goes. I guess we'll start with the one in the bowl. That still looks pretty green, but it's darker back in there. And a little bit darker where it comes down to that little point right there. Let's put a little bit over here while we got it on there. A little bit green there too, but a bit lighter, so. And I kind of see some of that lighter green on the other end of this lemon. The palette knife works really wonderful for some things. Well, I think for everything really, but the texture that it creates. Don't know where it went, but I started a painting the other night. Actually, I put online, but I'll tell you why I did not post it, because I wasn't happy with the whole thing. I was happy with a couple elements of it, but then I'll show it to you. It's still real wet. It's a tomato and a jar of salsa, and those things I like. This is palette knife too. Okay, I like, and I look at in the jar, the texture it creates. I think it feels like salsa, but I like those objects. But here I had a grater, and I didn't like the grater. So I scraped it out, so here it sits. So I'll probably figure out something else to put in there. If you got any suggestions for me, throw it out there. But after I got offline, I wiped the grater off. So I didn't post it. But I had a lot of fun painting the jar and the tomato, and again, that's all palette knife, and I like the way it looks. All right, I got paint on myself already. A lot. All right, let me focus. See, I put a little red in there even to make it a little more orange. Yeah, don't be afraid to try the palette knife. I mean, the nice thing about it is it's sure easy to scrape off, you know, if you don't get what you want. It's like, you know, almost like clay, you know, just move it around. It's so fun. Kind of working with the shape of the lemon too. All right, let's move over to this guy. And we got a shadow here. Let's get that in from this little bowl. I watched a demonstration today on YouTube of a gal that does pastel. Her name's not coming to me right now, but it will. Just such, you know, it's a different way to work, but yet, like she started off with pine trees, and she was painting them purple and blue. But that's kind of, when you think about it, kind of like I use my bright colors underneath. It's kind of a similar kind of concept. Okay, this is some of the cool lemon yellow. We're going to try it just to see, you know, if it gives you kind of that feel of light. Like I said, it's a cool yellow, but got some white on here. We're going to try adding some of that. I turn one, so this one we're seeing the bottom, and that one we're seeing the top. No reason, I just try and make it interesting. And they are very textured. And I think we'll just move on from there, and we'll just kind of rechecking the shape of the All right, let's block in the color of the bowl, which is the white bowl with a blue pattern. So we'll lay some white out. Again, it's good if you get 3 values going, I think. I mixed a little yellow in where I've got where it's the brightest. This is actually kind of my mid-tone of the 3 values. I'm feeling like that's too green there. It's a little hard to judge whether these feel rich and lemony enough till we get, I think, everything in, till the background's in. And we could paint the color on the bowl now, we could wait, it really doesn't matter. think we'll wait. And I think we'll go ahead and put some color on the cherries, even though I'm sure we'll get into that when we're painting around them. All right. I told you I was thinking, I think I told you I was thinking about taking an online course with Jennifer Gennari. I think if you find her on Instagram, Jen _arts maybe. She does phenomenal pet portraits. I mean, amazing, amazing. But anyway, I had found she was offering a course on there, and I was interested in it, and I looked today and couldn't find it, so I'm hoping she puts it back on. I was seriously considering it. I feel I do a good job with pets, but I just thought, you know, she might make me better, step up my game a little bit. You can always learn, so I don't know. I'm hoping she offers it again. I don't know why she would take it off, because I think they're like recorded classes, so why would you remove it? You know, once you got it on there. And so I let you know if I do that, if I can. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 6 lessons, and it's like $2.95. But again, today I couldn't find it. She's got some individual things on there. You can watch her do like a painting, but that's not what I wanted. Even though that might be beneficial, don't get me wrong, just not what I want. All right, let's mix up something for the background. I think we'll do a gray. So mix up our 3 primaries. I don't really have any shadows in the background. And I'm going to switch to a bigger knife, at least for some of it. I can tell you now, because I don't do a lot of palette knife paintings, that I've got to get used to mixing up more paint, because it doesn't go very far when you put it on with a palette knife. So that's one change I need to make. So I'm trying to get more paint here. My goodness. And I didn't mix them really well. We'll see how that goes. We may be kind of mixing them on here. And I'm going to want my little palette knife too, I can tell. And up here where there is no paint from the last painting, I'm going to have to get full coverage. I'm going to see how that looks. I've got that edge of the table looking over there. I think I like it, but we'll see. Let's get our little knife for some of this detail. It is nice having some color on here, I'll tell you, whatever it is. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's see. Yeah, wait a minute. Because I don't want that color down in here. That's where that table's going to be. And I need a shadow for the cherries, so I got carried away. Hold me back. And this one, remember, comes down to about here. I've got an area there I'm not liking. It's kind of the side of this bowl. I'm not really. Let's do something about that. And our blue is going to explain the edge of this when we start putting our blue detail in. All right. Let's see if we can get rid of some of this. Our little rubber knife. Of course, we'll want to ground this and the lemon. But into this background color, I'm going to put a little more yellow in it, and I'm going to put more white in it. You know, I like working with the same color to get color harmony, but you know, I want it different. Oh, I'll tell you one area we missed. Let me go back to the darker paint here. There's a shadow here from the bowl to the lemon. And of course, we'll have one underneath. I think I've mentioned it before, but I have a friend that, good artist that, I don't know if she uses black canvases or she tones them black, but I mentioned it one time and she didn't say anything about it. I asked her, actually, I could tell that I can see all the black peeking through. I think they sell black canvases, maybe you've used them, but I've never toned black. It'd be something else fun to try though, right? You know me, I tend to like brighter colors, so. All right, let's see what we got going here. Doesn't matter about that stem. We'll go over that stem. We got to put it in anyway. All right, we got paint everywhere. Ta-da! I always feel like that's an accomplishment on its own, right? All right, let's look at everything again now. Cherries are fun to paint if you never painted them. And I think we missed a little area right here. Even we still, of course, we still need our dark shadows underneath the lemons in the bowl. And I'm not ready to put the stems on yet because I want to make sure I got everything else. So let's just get into some ultramarine. I'm going to try that. And it's got a weird pattern on it. I don't know how important that pattern is. Oops. I'm going to put a little yellow here, like reflected color. We'll see what we think of that. And there is a bit of a shadow there that I missed. They say it's a nice thing about oils. You can kind of almost sculpt with them. They're really fun. Let's look for highlights on this little bowl. I'm sorry, I keep bumping into you. Got one on the edge. Okay. I almost feel like the lemon could be somewhat larger. There's actually a shadow there from that cherry, so I get that in. Some of this lighter color that we put down below, let's bring up into there. Bring some of the darker down. try this. If I don't like it, I take it out. And the wider bowl would be darker. That may not be dark enough. What do we think of that? I don't know, I'll look at it. I can always take it out if I decide I don't like it. Like I said, we're going to try a little bit of lemon yellow again. I say even that's a cool yellow. It does kind of give a different feel of light, I think. All right. A lot of paint on here. See how much is on the background? So it's going to take a while to dry. I mean, that's the disadvantage to it, but like I said, the last show I did, the two stole a couple somewhat bigger ones, and they were both palette knives, so soften that edge a little bit. That edge is a little bit hard because it's the light against the dark. Kind of need to almost get away from it to see. And I did put some of that yellow in on that edge, which kind of like reflected color. All right, like I said, I got to get away from it and look at it a little bit, but that seems like that should be up a little higher then. All right, let me get you in front of it. You're not too far off from there anyway. We'll back you up. Try to get my mat on there, my broken mat. I may have to tape it up. See if it doesn't drop behind it. Okay. Oh well, this would work. Good enough, huh? So you can kind of see it cleaned up. Well, get your palette knife out if you haven't played with palette knife in a while. Like I said, worst comes to worst. I mean, I got a lot of paint on there. I could just scrape it off. But I think they're interesting palette knife paintings. I think people like seeing all that paint. But you know, you wouldn't have to leave it as textured as I have it. You could go back over and pull the strokes more, you know, directional like the lemon. But I'm going to look at it for a while and see what I think it needs. You do end up with a lot on the edge if you're not careful. So again, it's going to take a little longer to dry. All right, thanks for joining me so close to Christmas, and like and subscribe if you haven't. And Merry Christmas to you. Hope it's wonderful, and enjoy your time with your family, and stay healthy. And who knows when I'll be back. I may very well be back for the beginning of the year, because once the holidays are over, I gotta paint. You know how it is. All right, thanks again. Good night.